Like any other red-blooded American, I love action movies. I love fistfights, gunfights, and blowing shit up. All goes really well with a nice glass of whiskey. But haven't you ever wondered what the people who do this for a living actually think of what they see on the big screen? Wonder no more. I, Lew and Alex, former Navy SEAL, 29 years special operations experience, are going to take you into this world. This is Guns and Whiskey. Today, we have Templeton Rye Whiskey and Universal Soldier, starring Dolph Lundgren and Jean-Claude Van Damme, two fine thespians. And today, joining me on this is a brother, former Navy SEAL, 20 years of special operations experience, Alex Kunz.
How's it going, Lew?
Good, how you doing? Templeton Rye Whiskey. Let's take a look at the tasting notes before we take a look at the movie. Templeton Rye is aged for 4 years, and when poured into a glass, the color is a pale and dull amber hue, which gives off an unmistakable flavor of rye grains, orange, and cinnamon. Just inhaling gives you a taste of sorts, which goes to show that Templeton Rye boasts a robust taste and is cut above the typical whiskey. Well, all right, Alex.
Outstanding.
So, Alex, give me your first impressions of this whiskey.
I'd have to agree with some of the notes. You can definitely smell the aged barrel and some type of cinnamon something in there. Overall, I think it smells pretty good.
By the time we do this show, we'll be well familiarized with it. Alex, let me know what you know about Universal Soldier.
Well, Lew, I have to admit, it was one of my childhood favorites here, so I do know the movie. Dolph Lundgren and Jean-Claude Van Damme at the time were, the action heroes.
Right.
One of my favorite scenes in this movie is when they started off the film as soldiers in the same unit, and they ended up fighting each other and killing each other, and that's essentially how the film began.
Let's take a look at it.
Outstanding.
Sarge. What the hell happened here?
I'm not even sure what to think about this scene right here. I don't think I would have reacted the same in this situation. I mean, I'm walking into a hooch. I don't know what's going on. All my guys are dead. And I think that he's rather calm given the scenario of looking at his sergeant, who's a leader in his platoon, sticking a piece of string through a bunch of ears. I think I would have reacted differently. You go through a lot of training in whatever military unit you're in, and it's always about tactics. When everything else breaks down, emotions, physiology, psychology, your body resorts to the things that are instinctual and what you're trained to do. And he bypassed everything that he's learned in the military to approach a guy that he knew was a clear threat. Yes, it may have been a friend, a sergeant, but he puts himself within, a unsafe distance.
I would have to agree with you. I think that self-preservation comes in there, where I don't know that you'd be attacking another American inside of Vietnam, regardless of what he was doing. Then again, I'm not Jean-Claude Van Damme, so let's see what he does.
Oh, I love that part.
I love it.
It's actually pretty funny because anybody who's a soldier knows the technical capabilities of a grenade. The thing that's really interesting here is that he's got a 2-second fuse when everybody knows you're 4 seconds or greater on a grenade fuse. Not only that, but you have a kill and a casualty radius. And here in this particular case, they're both within the kill or casualty radius. And of course, there's no fragmentation, no secondary effects of a grenade blowing up right in front of their face.
And if I heard her right, I guess the word for oh my gosh in Vietnamese is the same in English.
So he's getting a gut shot there, but there's a lot of bones grinding.
Yeah, you're right.
The other thing, too, is you're looking at Jean-Claude Van Damme's weapon. As he's falling, the weapon's clearly pointed in the air, yet every round's impacting center chest.
Right. Yeah, you...
But, of course, to your earlier point, Lew, we're not Jean-Claude Van Damme.
We're not.
And we can't twist
Those
bullets.
rounds love him. They go where he wants them to go. He wills them. That sets the scene for the movie. All that action, all that superhero, all that, oh, what's going to happen, really just makes me thirsting for a drink. What about you, Alex?
Oh, I'm in agreement, Lew.
Let's taste our Templeton Rye.
Cheers.
Delightful. So let's see these super soldiers use handguns now.
GR-44 is in position. Take aim. Fire. Move in and secure the objective.
150-yard shot, Alex. What do you think of that?
As we all know, there's many things wrong with this scene. They're using a handgun, which ballistically, with a suppressor, which ballistically doesn't have the range of a rifle. And then the other part to that is their stance is terrible. They don't have good contact with their body. They don't have good body position, and they're not even holding an elevation that would be sufficient for that round to meet that range.
I saw Dolph at about waist level. Back at that time, they didn't have any thermo supersonic rounds from a pistol that would make that shot. And I don't believe we even have something like that to this day.
I'm going to be a little bit ultra critical here on a couple things that I've noticed. Clearly, you can see a camera on the side of his head and something that goes over his eye, which I have no idea what that is. Clearly, it's not a night vision. It's not large enough. But the thing that gets me most about this shot is you see some type of sight window, and maybe that's assimilated to what's on his eye. But the thing I think that's ridiculous to it is that nowhere is there some type of complementary technology on his weapon to align the sight picture with whatever he's seen in his eye and the actual weapon trajectory itself.
Which would have had to been something like this.
Absolutely.
And would have had to perfectly land like here, not here, from that distance.
But it does look good. Jean-Claude Van Damme's hair is perfect, and the headpiece
teeth shining, no sweat, calm, cool, composure, no command and control like you mentioned earlier, and smooth operators, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Main target to rear.
Loaded pistol and explosives detonator.
You notice how the comms are so clear in this tunnel? We have 2017 in the 405 we have comm issues, let alone in the field. You know, the foobar that happens to us communicating with the birds or even each other or other units in the field.
Oh, I agree with you, Lew. I mean, I can't think of any operation we've ever been on that we didn't have communication issues.
None. Zero.
I think for the most part, about every tactic in the book has been ignored with this scene. I mean, everything from nobody seeing the guy walking down the hallway when they're clearly there posted as guards for a particular threat, and they don't treat this guy as a threat.
As a threat. They don't check him. They don't search his body. And very clearly, the audience can see, as you and I, there's something on the front of that box. You could think that was a gun. You could think that was back then you wouldn't think that was a camera going back to command and control. They were a little bit in front there. Give them kudos for that piece in the film, but they didn't check it at all, just assaulted or just moved past them. Let's get to the real meat of the story, the fight sequence at the end. This is awesome.
And I think that's deserving of another drink.
Another drink. Templeton Rye.
You gotta love this scene. I mean, he's back to the same scenario. A lot of shit happening around him. His guard's not elevated. He's not approaching things cautiously. He's walking around as if he knows or expects this stuff's gonna happen. You know somebody's your enemy and you're fighting them. You have a weapon, they have a weapon, but neither of you have the weapon pointed at each other. And all of a sudden, one of the guys puts his weapon down. In reality, you're faced with a threat. Are you gonna put your weapon down?
20 years of fighting experience, I never caught anyone's hand before. Have you?
No.
Maybe one day I'll just catch someone's hand and spin him around and throw him 20 feet.
Anybody who's ever been in a fight knows that there's multiple things going on. Nobody waits for somebody to take a punch. You're not going to wait till the thing lands.
In the chest.
I like the fact that you got to use a laser only 4 feet away to ensure your point of impact.
Oh, I agree, Lew. You and I both know that this is one thing that we consistently practice was shots within 5 to 10 feet. It's all instinctual shooting, and here they obviously need a laser for a superhero, a super soldier. And here's the grenade.
Run!
Thermonuclear.
It's on fire! Explodes!
Thermonuclear grenade.
Rain.
You can't have an action flick without a thermonuclear grenade and massive explosion. Quite frankly, I can't even think of a situation where I threw a grenade and I couldn't see it.
The flames, pouring rain.
He's reborn.
Van Damme with the Hulk move, the Hulk run.
And, of course, the flying kick.
Flying kick. And that is pretty. He does that. It's a very accurate fight scene. Do you notice how Jean-Claude's hair just went back to just this perfect manicured look? Happens every time in fights, especially when you win.
I agree, Lew. And to top it off, they made 6 more of these.
6 more.
6 more.
Amazing!
On top of that, Dolph Lundgren makes a comeback in one of the sequels.
Now that we've enjoyed what should have been Academy Award-winning piece, we're going to turn our focus to the whiskey that we shared, Templeton Rye, which I enjoyed. It's a smooth taste, and it's eloquent, aromatic, flavorful, wonderful taste. Alex, do you have any final thoughts on our Templeton Rye whiskey?
Now, Lew, I'm not a connoisseur by any means, but I know a good whiskey, and I have to admit that this is a pretty dang good whiskey and goes beautifully with my M4.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Alex, thanks for
Thanks a lot, Lew.
today.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Guns and Whiskey. Tune in next time.